What's up guys, this is Void of Dust Gaming and today I've got a brand new beginner's guide for one of my most favorite heroes that I actually don't play that often, but I just had a really amazing game today and I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about Keera, the Assassin Mage. Keera is a hero that is made for the jungle with great mobility and great damage output. She's got a unique set of skills, especially her ultimate is quite special because it makes her basically walk through any kind of obstacle or wall that is there in the entire game, giving her a lot of opportunities to catch enemies off guard when you hit level 4. And why she is so good, what you need to build, what kind of items you want to take on her, and everything like that is part of today's video. So first of all, I want to take a quick look on what abilities she has. As I said, she's sort of some assassin kind of mage champion. That makes her quite unique because she is one of the rare assassins in the jungle who is actually always on the very top of the tier list in the jungle, making her one of the premier mage or ability power based junglers in the game. First of all, let's talk about the passive. She's got Magic Wamp with her normal attacks, additional physical bonus and magic bonus, and that comes in really handy because it just means that you don't really have to build something that gives her Magic Wamp, for example Rhea's Blessing, because she's just able to get a lot of life back, especially if she farms quite constantly in the jungle. So this is more sorts of a sustained passive, but it's actually really good, and you guys are going to see what I mean by telling so, because in the upcoming gameplay it's going to have a quite huge impact on my jungle game, especially because I don't have to get back to base very often. Her first ability is Umbra Dream. It's got a lot of text, so basically what she does is she's going to jump into the direction of the target location. You've got the small indicator, and she is going to leave a clone behind, and if you reuse this ability, the clone is actually going to jump to the marked target. You are going to mark the target whenever you hit it. That means you've got double times the damage, so the damage is twice on the marked enemy, and it's actually pretty powerful. It's not the ability that you need to max first, but this is really nice because it is an ability that you can use to get over walls, and that's especially valuable if your ultimate isn't up. Second is the Triangle Maze, and this is your main source of damage because it's just dealing so much damage whenever you get an enemy in this kind of triangle. You become untargetable, which is also quite nice because it just means that you can dodge skill shots with it, and you're setting up some kind of triangle with your clones, and then they're coming back into this kind of center of the triangle, and it's going to deal massive amounts of damage, and it's also going to stun enemies. So this is your main source of damage. As I said, this is the ability that you should always max first. Not entirely sure if I did that in the upcoming gameplay, but trust me, this is the skill that needs to be maxed out first for the best source of damage. And then we're coming to the ultimate, which is the stuff that makes her really unique. As I already said, you are going to increase her movement speed by 40% for 8 seconds, which is huge just by this kind of effect that it's going to have on Keera. But during this time you can move through terrain and buildings, and you are going to have super armor, which is super cool, and you can still use that this is going to apply while you are using other spells. So it's not that you're going to use it and you cast your first spell and then this is going to end. Instead, when this skill ends, it's going to set the cooldown time of her skill 1 and 2 to immediately reset. So that's a bigger thing that it's going to tell you that you need to use those skills while you are in the ultimate state, while this 8-second duration of the Fading Phantom is applied, and this is going to have a great impact on the game, because it just means that you can use so many strategies on countering enemies from the sides and catching especially all those pesky things such as mages and AD carries in the back, because you are just traversing from the side and this is your main ganking tool. So that's what I had to tell you about the skills that she has and her abilities. Equipment wise, I decided to show you the build that I've used mostly on her. As I said, I don't really have that many games on her, but this build has been proven to be really successful. So of course you're going to build the major item on her. As I said, she is a mage, so this is quite important. You want to boost the ability power as far as possible. With that goes the enchanted kicks in order to have some magic penetration. To stack that up even nicely, we've got the evil secrets for some max HP and magic pierce, plus cooldown reduction is also something that this item gives you in order to use your spells more often. Hecate's diadem is a staple item. If you're playing a mage, this item has to be in the item order. And then I'm using 2 items for more defensive gameplays, or let's rather put it like more offensive gameplays, because Arctic Orb and the Blade of Eternity are actually going to put you in the position where you can gank quite aggressively, because you've got 2 tools that are going to help you sustain a little bit more. And as soon as you have been using the Blade of Eternity, I would say another good item that you can use is the Zweihänder or Apocalypse, in order to make your damage even better, because of course the Blade of Eternity is not helping you with your damage output, but I would rather pick them in the late game when the Blade of Eternity has already been run out or have been used twice. So that's my item build. In terms of Arcana, I'm using a pretty standard build, which is my mage damage build. As you can see, it gives us some ability power, magic penetration, magic lifesteal, and of course some cooldown reduction, so that we can use our skills a little bit more often. If you want to copy that, use 10 times Violate level 3, use 10 times Devour level 3, and use 10 times Hex level 3. And if you have problems shredding through armor, you can also take Flurry instead of Hex, or Flurry over Hex, and you will get some armor penetration, like magic penetration, right from the start. So pretty simple, but pretty effective, and that's what we want to see on our builds. In terms of enchantments, I've decided to go with Lockheim, with the Raging Inferno, which is going to get us even more damage, because it's going to scale a little bit better with AP than AD. We're using Deadly Claw for some ability power right from the start, and I'm using Curse of Death because it deals additional magic damage when abilities or normal attacks hit an enemy. So we're trying to apply our spells, especially the first and the second, on the enemy, and then we're trying to fit in some auto attacks to use the Curse of the Death in our favor. And you are going to see in the upcoming gameplay how enemies are just going to explode because of the barrage of skills that will rain upon them, and proccing Curse of the Death in most of the times. In the second line, I decided to use Mark of the Frost. As I said, this gives you a little bit more potential to play more aggressively, and then we're filling it up with Gunslinger to boost our ability power in total, making this build pretty powerful. And yeah, without further ado, let's just hop right into the game and see what Keera is actually able to achieve. It's going to be super nice, so be prepared for that. Alright, so let's be prepared for some gameplay for this and beginner's guide. I'm talking about a little more about things that most of the advanced players already know. So as you can see, of course, what we did was to take our jungle item right from the start. That's important in order to give us a better clearing time throughout the wildlings here in the jungle. And I've started off with the blue buff because I saw that our double or dual lane is located at the bottom of the lanes, and I just wanted to start off on this side and build up my items and my stuff up to level 4 in order to be ready to gank. Unfortunately, our team has been already killed once, or the enemy team got first blood, and I was just swiping up to see if I can make a play on this Astrid, but luckily our Rioma is able to handle her on his own, and I just caught Quillen here. right there in the jungle, and this was just too beautiful to even think or dream about it. Now I even got red buff while I wasn't even doing my own, and killing Quillen just gives me the opportunity to go back to my jungle and continue with my jungle rotation. And this is really important because you just want to have that farm, the gold, and especially the stacks on your jungle item, because it just means that you're going to max out your jungle item a little bit quicker in order to make things work. It's always pretty important to try to use this item. So because my team cleared the vision bird, I was able to spot Quillen here. He's not really paying that much attention, so I'm able to kill him quite quickly. As I said, you are going to deal a lot of damage, and as you guys saw already, we can just basically 2 or 3 shot Quillen in one go. Now there's Alice in retreat, and we got her as well. It's not our kill, unfortunately, it's Laville's, but I think we made a solid choice here in order to gank, because it just means that now their Telenas has a little bit harder time in order to protect the tower. And as soon as I saw that my team is about to go in and Maganga is following up, I decided to go straight back into the jungle to get some more gold and some more farm. Unfortunately, Ryoma is killed in the meantime, so that's pretty sad. But again, we are using all of our skills in our favor. So what I'm doing, it's not really a combo. Let's put it like that. It's plain simple. You're going to jump in. Immediately afterwards, you are going to use your second ability after you jumped in with your first ability. Then you're going to recast your first ability in order to get your clone up into the enemy's face. And that's basically about it. This is all you need in order to make it work. One thing that's really important is that you keep an eye and pay attention to the place where you are using your second ability, because it's something that you really need to put basically under the enemy in order to have the best effect and deal the most damage. The enemy has to be in this kind of triangle. I mean, the place is actually quite huge, but for following up damage, it's not the best, just because they can move out of it, and it's taken a while until the second action is basically forced upon. As you see right now, I have been stunned, so there is no chance on using my ability afterwards, because I don't really have the time to cast it and apply the damage, because Alice is just about to move out. So now there's Kali. I tried to do some damage, but I just saw that this is not going to be any kind of useful, and therefore I just made my way straight back to the jungle. Maganga is there trying to get Quillen, so there's not really a big necessity for me to go up to the top lane in order to defend Maganga. He's capable to do this for himself, but I just saw a great opportunity on getting something valuable in the enemy jungle, but unfortunately Quillen has already used anything so far, so there's not really any chance to counter jungle. The good thing about Keera, and I think that is something that players need to abuse in order to make her the most successful, is that she is actually really good when it comes to things like counter jungling, because she's got this great utility move with the ultimate, which means that you can just use your ultimate in order to get away. So it's not only a speed up and terrain ignorance buff to get into the fight, but it's also quite good to kind of get out of fights, and that's something that you should always pay attention to and keep in your mind, that this is something. I have been upgrading the second ability at first, so yeah, this is just something that you need to just keep in mind. It's really good. One thing worth mentioning about Keera is that her auto attacks are, and that's different to most of the mages, her auto attacks are melee based range. That means that you have to stand really close, but the good thing is that it works actually quite nicely with her skills, because you have short range on most of your skills, and that just means that you are going to follow up every single time you press the attack button, and it's going to help you to follow up the enemies in order to place your spells in the right direction and close to them, so that you're able to apply the damage. So as you see, I'm using most of my skills just to get enemies here. Here we go. Unfortunately, Ryoma has been killed. I was a little bit too slow, or he was a little bit too fast dying, too quick dying. But here's the first double kill. I think it was really worth on getting in here, and because my jungler, the enemy jungler and the enemy solo laner are both dead, it's a welcome opportunity window to get Darkslayer here immediately and get some nice buffs upon our team. Next step for me was to get counter jungling, and the cool thing about Keera is that her wave clear is phenomenal. Like, if you use your spells to wave clear, she is really good on doing so. And as I saw a lot of enemies being really low, I just used this opportunity to get another double kill. Now Quillen was following up. I think that wasn't the smartest move ever, and I just tried to get away here and let my team do the work in, and Rui just saw how low my health was and placed a portal for me, which was really nice. So thank you, Rui, for giving me the opportunity to get back into the game immediately, because I don't have to wait around the respawn area in order to get my life back. Sometimes it's just the magic vampire is just not enough. Look at that. I'm just using 2 spells, and with these the buffs are already taken. I don't even need to use my jungle talent, which is actually quite powerful, because it just means that we can do the jungle a lot quicker with the 2 spell combo. Trying to shove some minions into the tower here, which worked out nicely, and we've got some support from Ryoma as well as our Laville here. And now it's time for me to get back into the enemy jungle to punish them for hanging around, but I just wanted to make a play on the enemies here. Another kill for me, dominating. 9 kills have been on my account already, so things are looking actually quite bright. Now it's time to use the Arctic Orb, and whilst building the Arctic Orb, I will use it in the most desperate way ever, but you guys are going to see in a couple of minutes, because that game is actually going to not take that long. Here we go, another kill, and because the skill cooldown is so short, it just means that you can jump all over the place and try to get into the mid line and then go into the back line because of your really short cooldown with all the items that we already have. And it just means that you can look at that. It's a 2 spell combo with some auto attacks because of the death and all the items that we got so far. I mean, we basically full build. The rest of the items now is utility, and this is going to look quite bright in the near future because we're just dealing so much damage. Unfortunately, the enemies are now kind of making an entrance here. I was just being a little bit too greedy at this point of the game, but I think with 13 kills and 2 deaths, I can do whatever I want to them. As you can see, we have been scoring 22 kills, so more than half of the kills are my reward for getting into the enemies, and it was just... I was just running like a hot knife through butter, as they say in English, and it was basically plain easy to get all the enemies. And I think what really helped was to get Quillen in the first couple of minutes 2 times, because we just stopped his effort a little bit in his tracks. So I was using my ultimate right here in order to get into the side lane quite quickly, and I thought that I would be able to make a play here. Unfortunately, Alice has been casting her ability a little bit quicker than I was reacting to her, because otherwise that would have been another double kill. And now, because I'm untargetable when I'm using the ult, I just made an approach. And now look at my lifesteal. This is the lifesteal that you get from the passive. So we have received 1 health bar. That's 2.5 health bars. Let's make it 3. And I'm basically I basically got half of my life back just because I was using my spells. And now it's time to go in. As I said, I'm using my orb here to a really bad extent. Unfortunately, I was just pressing it because I was so hyped in that team fight. Now we've got Kali and Quillen here. I don't even know what they're doing. And this is actually quite painful. I thought that I would have no problems killing Quillen here in this approach. But now it's the time to get into the core. One minion is helping me out. I'm using my restore button here because my minion has already been killed. And now it's my duty to end the game. And I think we already carried the game for our team. Now we won the game for our team, so I think that's a great match, and I hope you guys got a lot from this video just in terms of how to use Keera in the best kind of way. She's a really great jungler. 45.9% damage dealt for my team, so I think that was a hard carry game. I've actually taken a lot of damage. I didn't even think that this was about one fourth of the damage, but as you can see, we are getting the gold assassin medal here. 19 kills, 2 deaths, 5 assists. You guys have seen the build. 82.8 fight participation, so most of the kills and assists are ours. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you like this kind of content, of course a subscription is the thing that you need to get on right now, so hit the subscription button as well as the bell in order to be informed whenever I upload a new video. And if you like the video, a thumbs up is highly appreciated. And I'm really curious what you think about Keera in the current meta. I think she is S tier right now, and I think this video has just proven her valuability. So thanks for watching, and bye bye.